You want to know the moment I realized just how deep the rabbit hole went in my neighborhood? It was when I sat through 20 solid minutes of Patty, our HOA president, ranting at a podium with three lawyers flanking her like we were at the freaking Nuremberg trials. I didn't say a word, I just unfolded the property survey I'd been keeping in my back pocket and let 47 neighbors finally see in real time that every last one of them had been driving across my road for free year after year while I got fined for fixing the potholes with my own cash. Yeah, that's how this story really starts, even if Patty would tell it different. I'm Jake Morrison, 52, retired civil engineer, which you'd think would mean I could actually enjoy my weekends after a divorce knocked me sideways. But instead, I moved to Willowbrook Estates in 2019. One of those places that promises good schools, safe streets, community spirit, the works. There were still original families living here. Folks who'd wave from the porch, swap dog walking duties, lend you a mower if yours broke. But by the time I landed, the new wave was already coming in: tech money, house flippers, people who'd rather file complaints on an app than introduce themselves over the fence. And right in the eye of that storm was Patty Hendress. People called her sweet, but I'm telling you, she had the bite of a repo man. Moved in with her tax lawyer husband Richard in 2020, and within months she self-appointed as neighborhood standards coordinator. Picture this: yoga pants, giant sunglasses, even indoors, a white BMW parked with ruler-level precision every single morning. Patty would go around measuring people's grass, actual ruler in hand, fining you if your daughter's car was crooked in your own driveway, threatening to have your house condemned if you dared to fix anything without her sign-off. You ever see somebody so hungry for control, it's like oxygen for them? That was Patty. Now it was the winter of 2024 that broke us. Maple Grove Lane, our only road in or out, looked like a bombed-out runway. You'd hear the metallic scrape of bumpers hitting pavement every night. I'm an engineer, I know when a road's about to fail. I emailed the HOA, offered to get real repairs going. Patty fired back in an hour. All modifications require board approval and permits. 6 weeks go by, nothing but radio silence. Meanwhile, Mrs. Chen lives 3 houses down, sweetest 78-year-old you'll ever meet, almost broke her ankle on her way to get the mail. So I called my buddy Tom, a contractor, and we spent the weekend patching up the worst craters. Cost me $3,200 out of pocket, but at least people could drive again. You'd think neighbors would be grateful, and they were at first. People brought over muffins, even offered to pitch in. I posted before and after pics on Facebook, hoping it'd guilt the HOA into doing their job. Yeah, that was my first mistake. Within 2 days, I got a certified cease and desist letter, unauthorized infrastructure modification. Restore to original condition or face fines. You mean dangerous tire-popping potholes? Give me a break. The Facebook group blew up. Old-timers backed me. The new folks, mostly Patty's crowd, chanted rules are rules. That's when I realized I'd tripped a class war with a bag of cold patch and good intentions. Patty called an emergency HOA meeting for a Tuesday afternoon when most of us had jobs. Only 3 board members showed, which was enough for a vote in Patty's universe. I walked in, and she had PowerPoints with red arrows, photos of my repairs. Even brought her own engineering report, written on landscaping company letterhead from her brother-in-law. She didn't even say my name, just called me this resident who threatened property values. They voted right then. No debate, $500 for unauthorized modification, plus $200 a day until I removed the repairs. Here's where I started fighting back. Next board meeting, I rolled in with a binder, real engineering, data, traffic counts, photos, material specs. My daughter Emma, 17, smarter than me with tech, helped me build a PowerPoint that made Patty's look like a second-grade project. When I revealed her expert was actually just a landscaper, the room gasped. 3 board members quit on the spot. Patty just doubled down, installed new emergency protocols so only her husband's friend could do repairs at 3 times the cost. Meanwhile, the fines kept coming. Patty stalked past my house every day, snapping photos, writing me up for Emma's car being 6 inches over an invisible line, or my grass being a hair over 3.5 inches. She even reported me to the county for unpermitted driveway work. That's when I started documenting everything, installing cameras. I found out her inner circle, the new wealthy folks, were violating the same rules I got fined for, and Patty didn't care. Selective enforcement. I made a spreadsheet. Engineers love spreadsheets showing her pattern of bias. Then one night, Mrs. Chen brought over a tin of cookies and whispered, "Patty tried to make me tear out my rose garden. Said it wasn't a native species." But Mrs. Chen had something better, every single HOA document going back to the 80s. When I spread those papers across my table, I realized Patty's new rules hadn't even been properly voted on. I spent the next weekend at the county recorder's office tracing property records. Found out the original developer, my late Uncle Bob, still owned the road when the HOA was formed, and when his holding company dissolved, the road passed right to me. I'd inherited it and hadn't even realized it. Let that sink in. The road everyone had used for years, my property. All the fines based on rules that never even applied to me. I took those deeds to my attorney real estate specialist, sharp as a tack. She looked them over, grinned, and said, "Jake, you own the road and always have. The HOA has zero authority here." Now I could have marched to Patty's door, shoved the paperwork in her face, and ended it right there. But sometimes you gotta let the villain play their last card. Patty ramped up, scheduled a public shaming meeting, invited the local news, jacked my fines to 25 grand, called county officials. That room was packed, neighbors' TV crews, plastic chairs creaking under the tension. Patty ranted for 20 minutes, waving fake engineering reports, calling me a threat to community values. Then came my turn. I just walked up, laid the property survey on the table, and said, "Before we go any further, let's clarify who owns this road." Dead silence. Patty's jaw dropped. The county official inspected the deed, nodded. The sheriff, who Patty had called hoping to arrest me, looked embarrassed. I explained for years I'd been maintaining their access on my dime. Patty tried to claim my documents were fake, but by then the spell was broken. Neighbors actually thanked me for fixing the road. I offered a cooperative plan. Everyone chips in a fair fee, the road gets professional care, no more drama. Patty. She stormed out, shrieking about blackmail. Her little club followed. The news ran the story, "Local man owns HOA's only road president exposed for harassment." The comments were brutal. Even Patty's allies bailed. Over the next week, neighbors flooded me with thanks and signatures for the new road cooperative. Mrs. Chen organized a block meeting. Tom volunteered his crew for more repairs. Emma's Facebook group swelled to 200 members. My favorite comment, "This is how you fix a community." Not with fines, but with facts. But Patty wasn't done. She tried to force a sheriff's sale of my house, total bluff, of course. Called in every legal favor, even spread rumors that I was laundering money. Emma uncovered the real scandal. Richard, Patty's husband, was being investigated for shady kickbacks from HOA contracts. The news picked up on that too, and within months, Patty and Richard had moved out their law firm in shambles. The best part: the road cooperative works 37 homes, chip and maintenance, is handled transparently. Property values are up. Neighbors wave again. Mrs. Chen's rose garden is blooming. Emma's off at college writing papers on grassroots organizing. Tom is donating stonework for the entrance. And me, I've become the accidental activist, getting calls from folks all over the county about how to take back their neighborhoods. So if you're dealing with HOA nightmares or just petty power junkies with too much time and not enough empathy, document everything, know your rights, and never back down to a bully. Sometimes the best revenge is just refusing to be a victim. What about you? Drop a comment. Share your own HOA war stories. Or let's talk about where the line really is between community and control, because I'm telling you, nobody ever fixed anything by staying quiet.